Hey everybody, Pay Marine here with another status report. Feels like it's been forever since I've done one of these because I had to do one kind of mid-January versus the end of the month because I had to leave for work and I didn't get back till kind of mid-February almost. And then on top of it, February is kind of a short month, which helps as far as the amount of time I've been gone, but kind of wanted to wait so I had a bit more to report on because today's actually the 1st of March that I am making this recording, but going to kind of recap really what's been going on, what at least what I've been trying to do. But yeah, so anyway, as you see, first of all, I'm going to show off my cool Pate Marine jersey, and then on the back, I don't know if you can see that, the 6, it says Captain. So yeah, like these I got for the trios team that we're going to Nova to do. That's just a fun way to, because we're like it's a team event and we want to kind of all look the same. So I posted a picture on the Facebook page that some of you've probably seen that shows. So like myself, I've got black and white. Another teammate has black and yellow, and then the other is black and red. And the kind of theme there is one to kind of again be pretty uniform. And like I said, I'm basically sponsoring kind of, I guess you could say, the team, because obviously we have the Pate Marine logo and it says the Pate Marine on the front here. So I'll be basically covering the shirts and then the registration fee. So like I said, kind of like a pseudo sponsorship type of thing, just to put our team forward. I would say that we'll be fairly competitive, I guess, but in a fun kind of just there to have fun way, really, more than anything. But yeah, so the reason like myself, I've got the black and the white because I'll be taking my Cacard on, so I wanted to kind of match my army. Then our next team member with the black and the yellow, he is taking Red Scorpions. And then our third team member is the black and the red. He's taking Blood Angels, and I believe he's going to have some Death Watch allied in there as well. But he's going to have kind of his primary, I guess you could say, color or whatever is the Blood Angels. So I kind of like that idea of kind of like matching our armies. Excuse me. And then on top of it, kind of matching each other but still being a little bit different. Kind of like the way I thought of it when I ordered them is like, it's kind of like if anyone's familiar with the Power Rangers or pretty much like Power Rangers or anything like that, where the different members of the team or the heroes like have different colors associated with them or whatever. So it's kind of the same kind of concept or whatever. So but yeah, I really like the way the jerseys turned out. I think they look great. They're a little awkward to wear because obviously these are American football jersey style, so they're actually made to be worn with like football pads. So the shoulders here can get a little poofy at times, and they have like an elastic to them, so you can kind of pull them down, and so it's not as bad. But then the sleeves do tend to kind of slide up a little bit. But in the end, like I said, I really am quite happy with the way they look and the colors and everything. So anyway, pretty excited. I was pretty happy about the way these are turned out. So and in that same vein of Nova, today being March 1st, the registration opens up today. So definitely be jumping on there and registering. Hopefully I can get another Supernova like I did the year before. But if not, even if I can get a Dwarf Nova, that would be pretty awesome. Because my one buddy that is on the team that went with me last year, he wasn't able to get the Supernova. He was one of them that got caught in like the the never-ending cart refresh thing, and then by the time it finally came up, it was sold out. But he was able to get a Dwarf, which I thought was pretty. It was like, I don't know, aside from not being able to get like the KR backpack and trays and stuff, like it was pretty comparable. I mean, I don't know, I can't say that there wasn't a huge noticeable difference. There was, but it wasn't like, I don't know, really anything super crazy. But like I said, so either way, if I can get the Super or the Dwarf, I'd be happy. And even if I don't get anything, well then, oh well. Better luck next time. And either way, I'll still be getting my convention pass and then start registering for the events I want to participate in. which at this time I'm not exactly sure all that I want to do yet. I definitely know that we're doing the Trios tournament. I think that's the first day, Thursday. But then after that, I'm not sure. I probably want to take place in some kill team events. I'm not sure how exactly. I want to take a look more at the schedule, just because I want to throw my ODST theme kill team out there, just because I think it'd be fun. Definitely be entering the Capital Palette again this year, entering a few models. I'm not sure if they're going to do it the same way they did last year, where if you entered multiple models, they just picked which one of those models they thought was your best work and they judged that one, instead of basically giving somebody that entered 50 models and somebody that entered one model. The person that entered 50 models is basically stacking the deck, like they have a greater chance of winning. Well, so by picking one model out of that 50, it evens the playing field out as to somebody that can only enter one. So it's kind of like one of those things. I like that, and I'm not sure if that's the best either. Now, if it's across multiple categories, then that's whatever. But if you're like entering like 50 single model entries into one category or something, like that can be that's a bit extreme. So I'm definitely gonna probably enter more than one model, but I'm probably gonna like I said, like pick different categories across the different whatever the categories are. Like I think they have like unit. What else do they have? Like vehicles, monsters, stuff like that, and just kind of spread load kind of entries that way. One category I kind of wish they did have that maybe one day they will or not is I would like to see kind of almost a combined conversion and painting category where you convert a unique model that is made from maybe various parts of different companies, third-party bits, whatever, GW or like a Malfax or whatever type of different models, and you combine into something. Or it doesn't even have to, it could be all GW parts too and be like a 40K something. But I just think it'd be cool to bring in the building conversion aspect of the hobby in with the painting aspect and go from there. Because I think, there, and maybe that could be a separate thing too altogether, which then if you had like a separate just converting thing that had nothing to do with painting, but a converting thing, I almost feel like that it should still be painted, just because that way like it will help kind of blend together your conversion, and that way part of the paint or part of the score would be like how well does your conversion basically fit together to make a seamless model, to make something that you think is made to be that, like that. Obviously if it's not painted, that's why I say like it should probably be painted as well, and maybe not heavily considered as part of the score. Like yes, probably painting is part of the score in some aspect, but in a converting type of thing, I think you want to focus more on the conversion itself versus the painting aspect of it. But like I said, I feel like the painting has to be part of it, because otherwise, if you have an unpainted converted model, you're definitely going to be able to see a lot easier like where the parts maybe were put together, spliced together, glued, cut, filed, whatever. And the painting just helps add that final, melding of the parts to really make it into one thing. And like a good example here is my my version of Farsight that I converted, and I think it turned out well. It's not like a crazy conversion here, but I mean it's definitely got some different parts. Like the sword is from the Eldar Wraith Knight, and just that kind of stuff. Which I think it turned out really well. I really like the way that one turned out. And then of course I have my Gravis, or not Gravis, what did I call it? The Indominus pattern Rhino, which was like the repulsor, which I basically cut down, spliced, and kind of converted down, which I can actually grab right here. So a much smaller version of the repulsor. I have this piece still on there too, which I have this up here, so this would be like kind of like the Razorback configuration, where you could put heavy bolters, las cannons, the typical choices up there, or throw this little hatch piece up there, and now you just have like a Rhino version. And again, because it is a smaller troop capacity and everything, cut down on the weapons as well. So instead of doing like, grenade or, multiple different things, I just put 2 storm bolters on the side, which maybe an option can be you switch them out to be frag launchers. And then in the front turret, instead of having either the heavy bolters or the las cannons, I just put like a heavy flamer there. So I thought that would be, I feel like this would be a good, like, pretty much only like a standard choice here is either a heavy flamer, or maybe you could put storm bolters there as well. And then the sides, storm bolters or frag launchers, and then that's it. Like, that's your choices for this. And then if you go the Razor configuration, obviously then you can have the top turret up there with, las cannons, heavy bolters, or whatever. And I picked this. I like this turret better than like the actual Razorback one because obviously it's got a sleeker profile. It doesn't sit up quite as tall and such like that, and kind of boxy. And so I went with this because I had a few of different versions of these from Forge World, because I had gotten a bunch of like the tarantula turret things. And so I have like the las cannon, heavy bolter, and the multi-melta versions of these turrets, which, like I said, I think that they fit the aesthetic quite well. But in the end, I really kind of like just that top turret there, and just like this little sleek little thing. And then, you could even go so far as to make it like the regular repulsor is a 10-inch movement, maybe because this one's smaller and a little bit faster, maybe this has a 12-inch movement. So then you have, while it's a smaller, less armored transport, it can still, get up there and at least, get your troops, your little 5-man squad or whatever it may be, into battle a bit quicker. I don't know. I like this idea here of a kind of a smaller Primaris version transport. Will we see one? I don't know. There's a lot of rumors going on, which of course is going to bring me into my next segue. Things are segueing quite nicely today. Of Shadowspear, the new box set is supposed to be coming out soon. One, I have to voice my frustration with, they are really dragging this one out. I think they know it. I also think it's for a reason. This has definitely got some hype around it. They've shown a lot. I feel like a lot more of the Chaos models that's coming in this set, which I'm not a big Chaos fanboy. They look great, of course. GW models always look like amazing, but I'm just like dying to know what else is coming in there in that box set for the Primaris. We know we got the Eliminators, which are the Phobos pattern armor, which is the Reaver armor, which I don't have them out now, but if you check out my Facebook, like, I already made that exact model. Obviously, my rifles are quite a bit different than the Eliminators with their sniper rifle version, because I'm pretty sure you can outkit them with like a Stalker bolt rifle or something. But the sniper rifles definitely look awesome. But like I said, like if you check out mine, like I took Intercessor torsos and put Reaver legs on them, and then I used two Reaver shoulder pads versus just the one. But I put 2 Reaver shoulder pads on there and call them, like, I've been using green stuff cloaks and everything, and basically been calling them like my pseudo scout snipers, but I wanted to have like a Primaris version because I'm trying to keep the theme with my army. It's all Primaris for the Star Commanders. And then now GW's got these coming out, so of course I'll get them because I'm going to get the box set. But in the meantime, like, I'll already have some painted up and ready to put on the table and use the rules in the meantime before I get the official ones up and done. But I just think it's funny that's actually occurred. So anyway, so we know we're getting the Eliminators, and then we have the Librarian that's also in Reaver armor, and has like cloak and stuff on, and can do some sort of aura of stealth of some kind, which we're not sure what that power or how that's going to work yet. But he has some sort of like stealth power ability, psychic ability. And then today, a lot of people were hoping that we're going to see a lot more models from the set, but in fact we did not. We just saw another of kind of the same thing. We saw the Captain in Reaver armor or Phobos armor. He is Captain, I can't remember, Arion or something like that. I'd have to look at it again. But in the artwork, a lot of people were thinking that maybe that was Sergeant Telion or Telios. I can't remember, the Ultramarine Sergeant. Because in the artwork, he looks like he has a white beard and he looks got the same bionic eye thing that he's got going on. And it looks like, well, maybe he got the Primaris treatment too. I mean, Calgar did. Everybody's doing it now. So maybe this is our next character we're getting. Well, no, apparently it's a different one. But like I said, he's a captain. Like, this is the first time we have a captain in Phobos armor. So now we have Gravis captains, regular Intercessor armor captain with it, Mark 10, I think it's Mark, I don't know, Mark whatever armor. And then now in the Phobos armor too. So all the Primaris armor has a captain version now. So that's interesting. It looks like a cool model for sure. It's definitely cool. I will probably paint mine with a white beard like Telion just because I like the idea of it being him, but then also with my Star Commanders, like I want like a grizzled captain, stealth veteran or something. I think that would be kind of cool. Plus, I mean, I think right now most of my guys are helmeted, for the most part, and then the ones that aren't, like they don't have beards or anything. So I mean, I figure throw a beard on him and call it good. But yeah, so it's a really great looking model and stuff, but. Again, like people are really anxious to know what else is in that box, especially for Primaris, because we haven't seen nearly as much, I feel, as we have on the Chaos side. Other than that, there's that preview video that came out that we see some sort of heavy troop, or I don't necessarily troop, but some sort of heavy unit type that has grav chutes on, because you see the grav flaps that like the Reavers have on. So he's got that on his backpack and on his shin area. A lot of people kind of miss that on his calf, shin area, or not really shins, but more on the calf area. There's also some there. And then he's carrying what looks like to be an autocannon. So we're not sure if that's some sort of deep striking jump. Well, I would say it's probably not a jetpack jump troop like the Inceptors are, but some sort of deep striking heavy support unit. Which is interesting because I'm not sure how exactly that's going to work with them deep striking, especially with heavy weapons. So they're most likely, because the heavy weapon and deep strike, when they come in, they're going to be hitting on 4s anyway, which might not be great. But then if you're able to put your Reaver captain and deep strike him in with them, then you're re-rolling 1s at least. So I don't know. We'll see how all this is going to work out, I guess, in the end. But I also want to see what those units look like a little closer. And what else are we getting? Like, we know on the Chaos side, there is that, like, Demon Walker thing. So a lot of people have been speculating maybe we're going to get a vehicle. A lot of people have also been saying we've never really got a vehicle in a starter set or a 2 factions versus another faction type of thing. I've heard, like, that has to deal with Space Marines anyway. We've never gotten, like, a full vehicle in there with that, which I'd have to actually look back through to see, which I think is for the most part true. Someone brought up the Custodes starter box set that came with like a Contemptor, a Land Raider, and a Rhino, but then someone else pointed out like, yeah, but that was like more like a starter army than it was like, it wasn't like the Custodes, versus somebody else. It was just the Custodes, and that was, well, and Sisters of Silence I think were in there too, but I mean that was it. There wasn't another faction in there. So I don't know. A lot of people are hoping though that maybe we'll see that smaller, cheaper points price Primaris transport that can carry 5-man squads and less armament, so we have a cheaper option than the Repulsor. Don't get me wrong, I love the Repulsor. It's a great vehicle, but as an only transport option, it's not necessarily the best thing for games because it's such a point sink, and then a lot of times because it's got so many guns and you can bring 4 las cannon shot, 2 las cannons and las talons, but those strength 9 hits with that d6 damage, like that's pretty scary on top of all the other little shooting things it can do, and with decent movement, like more times than not I can only bring 1, maybe 2 in a list, and a lot of times people will focus down on those, and I end up losing at least one early in the game. And especially if I brought two, I'll lose one most certainly, and then the other one will start to lose some whole points pretty quickly. And especially if you're going against knights, then they're just gone. Especially if they have a Castellan, like both your repulsors will be gone turn one, unless you got turn one. Well, bottom of turn one, essentially, because if you got turn one first turn, by the end of turn one, your repulsors will be gone. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I am hoping for a smaller transport option, especially because I need something to protect myself a little better for cheaper. Now that the Raven Guard tactics are a little bit different, it is still I don't have to rely on transports too much because I at least have that -1 hit outside of 12 for my infantry stuff. But it would be nice to have something to put in there because I want to be able to get like Hellblasters or something like that up the board quicker if possible, other than trying to, I don't know, because I can't deep strike them anymore or strike from the shadows, so I can't really kamikaze them out there like I have in the past. I did recently play a game not too long ago where I tested bringing the heavy Hellblasters with the longer range, and it worked out pretty well. And I was able to put them in cover with some good field of fire, and really force my opponent to have to either focus on that Hellblasters, which now is a 2-up save and cover, or my Repulsor, which was kind of swinging around and taking some shots at their kind of heavy stuff. Now that game was fun. It was interesting against Astra Militarum. I ended up winning at the last minute, but I will say that in the later game, like the later turns, like I felt like it was pretty neck and neck. The Astra Militarum kind of had a pretty early lead and was able, because the scenario I had Inceptors as well, the Plasma Inceptors, but I wasn't able to deep strike them. Part of the mission set or mission rules for that particular game was I had like a kind of I can't remember, it was like 2-inch, or not 2 inches, like 3-inch or so deployment zone that went along the back edge of the board and then kind of halfway up on the side, and I could only deploy my Inceptors on my table edge, so not even on that side thing, so because there's like any reserves or deep striking units had to come in the back, so I kept them in reserve. I didn't put them on the table first turn. I might have, should have, but at the same time it was nice having them to bring in later because they kind of made some clutch kills at the end, which then really started to swing it more in my favor. And then unfortunately I had an opponent that I've played before in the past, and I mean, yeah, long story, short story, whatever you want to say, it was he's kind of notorious for being a poor sport when things start to not go his way. Nobody likes losing, obviously, but I mean, sometimes he takes it a little too hard, which started happening, and he started getting a little upset, and I feel like that also helped me then because he just wasn't focusing as well and made a few more kind of tactical errors, which unfortunately ended up kind of costing him the game to where he didn't really see an end. So I mean, that's unfortunate there. So I don't know, I'm still toying with the tactics. We'll see, but now I kind of thought that was kind of like a test list for what I might have wanted to take to Nova, but now, not knowing what's going to be coming with this Shadowspear set, we'll definitely see how that's going to shake up things and see how my list changes and how much bigger my paint pile is going to get for Nova now that we'll have a whole bunch of new units that I may want to take and need to start putting together and paint in a hurry. Which brings me into the next segment here. I have posted some links here and there of links to some eBay auctions and stuff that I had up. Well, not really. They weren't really auctions. They were more just buy now prices for really good discounts. I still have a lot more to put up. Like I said, unfortunately, I've had some things occur and things happening that I've really had to refocus and downsize and get rid of a lot of things to just help other things going on in life right now. Like I said, it's a very unfortunate thing. One of the hardest things I had to do was I sold my Salamanders army. That was rough. That was my biggest army. First, I want to say first army, but it was definitely like my first for like big foray. Like I really focused in on my salamanders. I had like initially like I started out with a small Dark Angels army, but I quickly fell in love with the salamanders lore, the look, everything about them, and I started really focusing on building them. I made this really beautiful army I just loved. But like I said, because of these hard times going on and stuff, unfortunately I had to let them go. I did keep a few choice models, some of my favorites, and had to let the rest. I wanted to keep. It was hard. I really wanted to keep them all because they're like it's hard. It's like who's your favorite kid or whatever type of thing. Like you can't pick. You just can't like. So I really had to pick which ones were my absolute favorites out of them and just let the rest go. Unfortunately. So I sold them to a gentleman in Duluth, Minnesota. So kind of near where I grew up in northern Iowa area. So it's nice when they're kind of in that area now. So if anybody is in the Minnesota Duluth area, you may play an opponent with a pretty smart looking Salamanders army. Just know that was my old army, and yeah, he's the guy that bought them was just quite happy, very impressed. He sent me a message. He was like, hopefully you get through whatever you're going through. It's a beautiful army. The pictures didn't do it justice. I'm like, I know, like it just seems like the pictures really don't. But yeah, and he was very appreciative of the work that I did, and like I said, like I'm very happy. At least from what I can tell, they've gone to somebody that is definitely going to appreciate the amount of time and effort and work I put into that army. So I mean, there's I guess some silver lining that at least the person that has them now definitely appreciates them for sure, which is always good. Like I said, it was a hard decision, but it is what it is. And in that, unfortunately, like I said, this is it's a deep hole situation. It doesn't have a I don't know, like a necessary like a timeline of when the situation will resolve, I guess we'll say. But so anyway, going on with that, unfortunately, again, more selling is continuous as I've got more stuff I'm going through, and like I said, have to post. But one of the big things is my Cardon army will most likely also be up for sale after Nova. So after September, I'll be putting them up as well, unfortunately, which is going to be a rough one. Again, I'll probably try to keep a few of the pieces that I really like, but it's going to be hard to let that one go. And again, like I'm not even sure. Like it's gonna be hard to pick which pieces of them which select models I would like to keep just for memory or for sentimental value and such. And I do have a little bit I need to add. I have two Xiphon interceptors that I'm going to be adding to that army. I'm not sure. I like the idea of potentially taking that to Nova in my list. I'm not 100% certain yet. But I had two that originally was going to be for my Salamanders army that I never finished painting. They're actually primed green, which I'm going to have to reprime gray and do them up. But other than that, everything is pretty much ready to go for my Cacardons, except for this potential of adding in some Xiphon Interceptor fighters I think will kind of help. At the very least, I'll have one in the list, I think, along with my Fire Raptor gunship, just because I like the idea. I mean, they're a predatory fleet, so I think they need to have some good air support to come in and lay down fire while everybody else drops in, because I've got three drop pods, I think, for that. At least I have to look. I know I have two. I think I have three. Drop in and deliver everything, and like I like the very much, like it's an air assault based thing, because it is, after all, it's a predatory fleet, so they're going to be coming in from. I mean, most Space Marines are anyway, but they live in the outer dark, so probably be adding that in there anyway. And like I said, get my last hurrah with them at the Trios tournament before I send them out into the outer dark, into hopefully another very appreciative person that appreciates the work and effort and time, everything that went into that army as well. So unfortunately, that is kind of where I stand there. And so in the end, I will have pretty much just my star commanders as my only and primary force. So I will have a all Primaris custom made chapter. And then I still have a few other things here and there, like kill team wise, like smaller stuff. And then my ODST kill team that I've made is it's gonna be a very long side project of an Elysian style army. So at least we'll have another army kicking around other than just my Primaris Star Commanders. I'll have an actual Astra Militarum, which is an army other than when Tempestus first came out. I had an all Tempestus army, but haven't, like I said, since kind of deviated too much. I've had Tau and other stuff, but this will be my actual first like Astra Militarum army because as we know, Tempestus still have good armor saves and good shooting as well. Granted, like they're not high strength on their shooting, but they're hitting on threes and they have good AP. So, but kind of going back to the Tempestus were the replacement of the Stormtroopers, and so kind of going back to the Elysian, kind of the airborne style army, and I like the idea of the ODST theme, kind of again melding too with like my Star Commanders, doing the Buzz Lightyear Star Command theme, and then and the Librarian, and that has the Halo Covenant Energy Sword. So again, kind of melding different genres together that I definitely enjoy. And ODST, while I love Halo and everything, I really like the ODST game because it deviated a little bit from the norm of Master Chief, and you were still playing an elite soldier because the ODST were kind of like special forces themselves, but they weren't augmented humans. So I kind of like that idea. And like I said, I think if you haven't seen, you can check it out on the page. I've got an ODST album on the Facebook page. And then, like I said, I'll be working more on those over time, but kind of at a slower pace because they're not super huge priority. It's just more of a project of love right now. And hopefully I won't have to sell them one day. But, with the hobby, there's only so much shelf space. And like I said, life will throw curveballs at times. So, unfortunately, have to kind of go with the punches here and there. And like I said, I've had to let some things go and really downsize a bit. So hopefully, like I said, hopefully all this will just kind of stop and I can recover from this whole situation and move on. So what else going on? I still haven't gotten to play Warhammer Quest. Most of that because I was gone, for a good month, so I pretty much haven't really got to do much of any kind of work, hobby related. So I wanted to try to get at least as many of the characters painted as I could before I started playing, but now I'm getting to the point where I just need to start playing and painting along the way. I got the Amble expansion and got that all assembled and everything, and so really just need to get into just playing because I know they're going to continue to release stuff and I don't want to get too far behind where like now I have all this stuff and I still don't want to like run into any spoilers or anything as to what's in the vault or the Amble nest or whatever and stuff like that. So but I've got the White Dwarf with the kind of the prequel mission in there, and then got the Amble expansion, which I'll probably throw that just in the mix with the regular campaign and just play it with it in there already, versus like going back and playing separately after completing the main mission. I don't know if that'll be good or bad, but that's what I'm going to do. And then I guess so. There's been some other things previewed at the Las Vegas Open, and one of them was Warhammer 40K Arena. And it's got some great looking models on there. There's a female rogue trader that has like a very interesting looking prosthetic, which I'm not really sure how you gain any traction on like this, I don't know, really bladed looking prosthetic that, like I said, I don't feel like would gain any traction, especially on certain surfaces. But anyway, with that though, apparently it's a prequel to the Blackstone Fortress stuff. So now I'm starting to get into an issue where like I'm not a big fan of what's happening now because So we got Arena coming out, which is a prequel, and then they had the White Dwarf mission that came out after the fact as well. That's a prequel, which I mean, you got to release the main game. So Arena's a separate game that's a prequel. So that one's a little different, and I get the White Dwarf prequel mission. Like, you can't really, like, you need to have the main game before you can release that to play it. So I kind of get why that came out after. But like the Arena game, I almost feel like it's not that elaborate looking of a game. It's got like 4 characters in it and like some tokens and a little cardboard looking play area. Not like it's not super big. Like, I don't know how long or if it was what happened with the development there. So I don't know if they meant for it to come out after, but I kind of wish or kind of think it maybe should have come out before, and they could have preferenced somewhere in there that it's a prequel to an upcoming game that's coming out. And even then, they could have, like, because it was at Nova this last year where they previewed the Blackstone Fortress stuff. So even then, like, if they had Arena ready to go or pretty close to, they could have, like, been like, Arena's coming out and it's a prequel to, and then they show the Blackstone Fortress preview and everything. So then you play Arena and you get all hyped up and ready to play it, because Arena looks like a very small, simple game. So you play as Arena, you read the story, you get the lore and the fluff there, which then leads you in to the Blackstone Fortress. But again, like I said, I don't know what or how that all worked out or why they chose to do it that way. I'm sure they have their reasons, but you know, little old me, I don't know why. So of course I'm going to complain about it, because that's what we do. But yeah, so yeah, that's pretty much it right now. Main things I'm working on right now is trying to get some more Blackstone Fortress stuff put together and painted. Well, not put together, but painted. And then the other big thing is I'm starting, like, I need to get back into the swing of just working on my Star Commanders, because like I said, I still have stuff from the first releases of Primaris that I still need to paint. Like, my Plasma and Scepters need to get painted, and I have all kinds of stuff that need to get painted as far as I've got a full squad of Assault Intercessors, then I have a full squad of Stalker Intercessors, and then I have a 10-man of the Assault Plasma, and then a 10-man of the Heavy Plasma. They all need to get painted. I think I'm going to focus on the Heavy Plasma and the Plasma Inceptors, because as of right now, that's a part of my new list. And then I also have a bunch of Reavers too, both the heavy bolt pistol with the grappling hooks and stuff, and the ones with the little carbine things. They all need to get painted as well. And then we got the new stuff coming out, Shadowspear. So it's just more and more stuff there. So in a way, like, this kind of bad situation that happened where I had to kind of downsize a lot of projects and get rid of a lot of stuff has been kind of a good thing, because I really, I mean, this is going to make me focus on just my Star Commanders. So hopefully I don't lose any followers and stuff on the page and stuff along the way, as it's going to very much seem like I'm only painting Star Commanders and Primaris, because in fact that's pretty much mostly what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to try my best. Like I said, I'll have some Blackstone Fortress, maybe some Kill Team, my ODST updates here and there. But like I said, unfortunately, it's going to kind of be fewer and far between as far as like crazy different projects. But mostly going to be a lot of Primaris Marine-esque products, or not products, projects. So hopefully people don't get too tired of that and lose interest in what I'm doing. But if you do, I guess that's up to you. I have no control over that. Hopefully you don't. Hopefully you continue to follow and support the page and the channel as I move forward. And I guess the last thing I want to know is if you could, I just want people's input. Like, what do you think I should add to the channel? What do you think I should change, do differently maybe? Big things are like the matter of fact segment that I did. I may try to change, if not maybe just do away with it. I feel like some people definitely appreciated it because they can listen to someone reading out the FAQ while they're painting or whatever. I've had a few comments on there where, and I get it, there's internet trolls and people that just whatever, but they were kind of like, oh, good job just reading the FAQ, like I couldn't do that myself, which I definitely have preferenced before in the past, that like yeah, anybody can read the FAQ, but I was just doing it kind of as a courtesy, one, for myself to stay up to date, but then also for others to, like I said, be able to paint and not have to sit there and read, because some of those things can be whatever. And I guess somebody thought like my sound or something wasn't off. Now, I don't have a mic. It's something, it's definitely on my wish list to get some kind of a mic, so I can be heard better. I feel like most of the time my videos and things have been pretty clear, at least in my ears, and maybe maybe I don't know, maybe I have better hearing than some, but it has been brought up in a few of the FAQ ones, especially, that it sounds like, it's like, oh, great video of you mumbling through the FAQ, which, okay, my bad, sorry, but I don't know. So that's one thing. I'm not, at this point, I'm not sure, because I am far behind on it, because before my computer issue, which I'm using a very simple little tiny notebook. Well, it's a notebook, so I don't have a lot of memory. It's really, I'm really crutching along here, because when I lost my computer back in January, I had like most of my other programs and stuff on there, where those were still simple programs too. My editing software and stuff. So like this video here, like you may have noticed, is kind of maybe not the best that it could be. Like I said, unfortunately, it is what it is right now, until I can, again, get my situation a better. Like, when it rains, it pours. Like, a bunch of stuff just happened at once, and I'm still not able to get a brand new computer. I'm grateful that I even have this one now that works, so I can kind of stay in the loop. But, like I said, I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully, I can get a new PC going where I can, again, get back to making some better quality videos and such. But like I said, that's one, because I had filmed a whole bunch of the FAQs and got everything up to caught up, and then they were all saved on that computer. The computer's gone. Like, that hard drive is non-recoverable, which is just unfortunate. So I lost all those videos, and there's been some more changes since then. So now, because I've missed that, like, now that any new changes that they've had will be in magenta, and I will have missed a whole update. So if people were, using those to kind of stay up to date, when I read, and I just read the updated stuff in magenta, there's gonna be a whole stuff missed. So now so between the negative comments and feedback I've already received on that series, and then with the fact that I'm missing a ton of FAQs now because I lost them on that computer, and like I said, now if I go to update it, like, I will be missing some of the updates anyway. It is definitely looking like I'm probably just going to that whole series. So but yeah, unless you really absolutely like it and you have an idea of how I can kind of revive it, let me know. But then again, like I said, let me know if there's anything else. My workbench videos, I wish I had more to put on there, as far as more tips and tricks to share. Like I said, it's been a while since I've been into there. Like, I've shared most of what I can think of. But if there's any techniques or anything that you're curious about, or how I did this or how I did that, just throw them out there, and I'll see what I can do. But for the most part, most of the other painting things are not anything that somebody either hasn't already made a video or I haven't already made a video of. Not to say that there aren't other tips, tricks, and techniques out there to share and learn. I just need to learn them myself before I can share anything I don't know. Or there could be a technique or something that I know that I'm not even thinking of. So I definitely ask that if you have a question or have an idea about something, throw it down there. And if I already like I said, have experience with that, I will definitely share it. Anything else, really? I think that's about it, really. I've definitely got a busy year between, like I said, work, school, family, the hobby. Then I've got a bunch of other stuff coming up, too, that I'm trying to do. Really, I guess not 40K or tabletop gaming related, but still another hobby of mine. So yeah, I've got a lot of stuff going on, a lot of traveling coming up. So this looks to be a very busy year, and looking to near the end of the year, moving as well to a new area. Not sure where yet. Unfortunately, like My job, yeah. Well, I know that I'll be moving at least. It's just they haven't informed me exactly to where yet. I'm about 9 months out from where I will potentially be moving. And I should know about 6 months out, which is on kind of a short leeway time, but it is what it is. So yeah, we will see. Hopefully nothing too crazy, but I don't know where I'm going to end up. So unfortunately, because of that, this Nova, and especially depending if I'm like out of this area, like this could be my last Nova for a little while. But it could mean that I may be closer to attending Adepticon or LVO, or who knows, maybe the Bay Open out in San Francisco. We'll see. But at least for now, I can pretty much for sure say this is potentially my last Nova, which is a great Nova to go to because it's the 10th year anniversary of Nova. So I'm definitely excited about that. Hopefully, I'll still kind of be in the area of Nova where I can continue to attend because it's been a great time. I've been to Adepticon before as well many years ago, and it was a great time too. So if that's an option, then I'm all about it. But I haven't been to the LVO or really anything out on the West Coast, so if that becomes a possibility as well. We'll see. And then I also still want to get down to the Warhammer Citadel in Texas to check that out at some point. So if that happens or if that becomes a possibility, who knows? So, all right. Well, I think I will call that done for now. It's like I said, a lot going on in such a short amount of time, and I look forward to sharing this journey and experience forward. And again, if you have any ideas or suggestions, I greatly appreciate them. And again, please, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Check out the Facebook page. Subscribe, share, do all that. I would greatly appreciate it. And until next time.